Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Sorcery. Diving right in once again. So we're at this lovely junction here. We could go between the buildings up north towards Liaki, the ruined village, or down this way through the forest towards Dumpus. And I'm going to go into the woods. Yeah. Your journey is too important to slow down by talking to locals. You must pass unseen, and so you disappear into the jungle of tall trees. For a short while the sun is feverish, and then you are between the trees once more, and everything becomes cool and still. You walk for several hours uneventfully. This is land that was never settled or explored, and very few travel this way. In places, bushes and shrubs have grown over into the path. You know what? It's a forest. It's a very thick forest, almost a jungle, as it's described. So this then becomes... just a reminder, right? The Shamutanti Hills have a generally slightly oriental feel to them. So describing this as a jungle, completely in keeping with the feeling of the setting. I'll move cautiously. No need to attract too much attention to myself. You pick your way carefully forward, moving slowly but silently between the trees. If there are any beasts nearby, you should be able to wring their necks without them hearing you approach. When you come to a fork in the road, still deep in the forest. So be it then. Someone has thought to make a sign, perhaps as a guide or perhaps as a warning. The way to the right is marked for Dumpus. A left turn points to Alianna. Neither way seems the better trod. You will have to choose. Well, we've got this lovely little hut here in the forest. Alianna feels more like someone's name. Let's go pay her a visit. We can always... It looks like a dead end. We can always come back and go to Dumpus later on. Let's try and keep on the path. There we go. The path winds between trees that get greener and more lush. You must be closer to the river here, although you cannot hear the water. After about half an hour's walk through dappled shade, you come across a well-built hut. Flowers decorate its walls, and the door has been painted with ornate designs. The path ends here. I'll knock on the door. You approach the door and knock. There is no reply. I could turn back, open the door, or scout around the hut. Yeah, I'll go have a look round the outside first. You perform a swift circuit around the hut, but find nothing unusual or concerning. It seems to be what it is, a hut set by itself deep in the forest. But for someone to survive out here on their own, surrounded by the beasts of the jungle, they must be someone quite powerful. Well, I'll open the door. You push open the door and stride inside. I shall enter the house. The hut is neatly laid out. You detect the touch of a fastidious woman. Chairs are set around a table as if for guests. A mattress lies in one corner, and a large kitchen area indicates that whoever lives here, they are fond of cooking. If memory holds me correct, there should have been something outside the hut, and I haven't been able to find it yet. I'm not going to rob the place. I'll call out. I've knocked and got no response, but maybe a bit of a yell might help. Hello! Is there anybody here? To your surprise, surprise, yes, surprise, that'll be £1.50, please. That'll be £3.78, that'll be £4.92. Yes, that's right. To your surprise, a voice answers quickly. Who's there? Who's that? I'll attempt to locate the speaker. I'm not going to ignore them after I've called out, right? Warn you I'm armed. I mean, they can see that if they can see me, but they can't, so I'll try and find them. Looking into a corner hidden by a large cupboard, you see a cage in which a young woman is imprisoned. "Good stranger," she pleads, "let me out of this cage, I beg you." "What happened to you?" You move over to the cage, quite shocked. "What happened to you?" "Oh, good stranger," she wails, "I've been locked in here for 2 days. It was Elvins that did it. Those mischievous, prankful Elvins. Please, you must help me. I have not eaten, and they left me here, where I could see all my cooking things, but cannot reach them." "Oh, I'll absolutely help you." Going over to the cage, you try the door. It's locked, of course. I've got this key here. The woman watches as you open your pack. Beeswax to soften the lock? No. I have a rusty key. You try the rusty key. It fits the lock, and it turns. The woman claps her hands into light, and with the door open, she rushes out and throws her arms around you before backing off a pace and trying to regain her composure. "A stranger," she declares, "I am in your debt. Alianna will reward you. Will you take an aid in combat or mastery of magic?" "I need no reward beyond a kiss." Yeah, that's kind of taking advantage of the situation. It's kind, but we can generally handle the fights ourselves with a bit of cautious judgment. Magic, we do use magic a lot. And we are taking the sorceress route. Of course, it is sorcery after all. Very well. She rushes quickly over to a wall and opens a panel you had not seen before, and takes out a small box which she places in your hands with a smile. "No tricks," she says with a smile. "All these things will aid you, if you know how they are meant to be used. Well, let's open the box and see what we find." You flip open the box. It contains a small vial of glue, a pair of strange-looking nose plugs, and 4 small pebbles. Hey, that's ingredients for 3 of the spells in our spellbook. You pocket them and give back the empty box. "The lady has been freed. It seems like there is nothing more to keep you here and for your quest. Would you share my food with me? Ask if I may eat." Look, I'm going to eat today anyway. If she's not... Right, is that can I eat my own food, or if you're cooking anyway, can I have some? Look, would you share my food with me? She nods vigorously, and the 2 of you settle down to the table. It is a mockery of a family feast, as you carefully divide some of your provisions, trying hard not to lose any morsels into the cracks in the wood. She eats ravenously, as do you. Then finally you stand. "I must be on my way," you tell her. "I have many more miles to cover today." She nods. "Of course. Please, before you go," she holds out something. It's a small bag of gold coins. "You know what? I'm running a bit low. I'll absolutely take it." Leaving it, she might have given me some alternative payment, but I don't know for certain. You bow your head and accept the gift. There are 7 gold pieces inside. She's practically doubled my money. "And one more thing," she says. Moving around the table, she leans up to you and pecks you on the cheek, whispering, "I am Alianna the witch, and I have killed a good many men with my sorcery, but I choose not to kill you today. Go in peace." Then she steps back, and her face is as soft and peaceful as it ever was. Did you imagine her words? Almost certainly not. Time then to leave. You step quickly outside, you retrace your steps to the last junction, then you turn to take the path to Dumpus. So the Elvin's riddle was, see him though he sees you not, in a box that isn't left. To guard a key it is his lot, which rhymes with not. To jail a witch of luck bereft. She was unlucky, the Elvins locked her up. And I think the man with his half a spellbook page got it from this hut the witch's hut, and we could have maybe got the other half instead of the coins, but I'm not sure. Well then, let's go along the road and trace our path correctly all the way to walking through the woods. I could have probably done a big diagonal thing right through it, but it didn't feel right. You walk for several hours, following the twists and turns of the path through the trees. Then suddenly you stop. You've heard a noise up ahead. Something is moving around between the rocks at the edge of the path. I'll wait to see what comes. I could draw my sword, but I always have my spells handy. You hang back watching the trees. There is definitely something moving around. Something large and long with a tail that whips between the trees. But now that you've seen it, you're at a definite advantage. Attempt to creep around. You know, that almost feels like a good idea. Cast a spell. What spells are available? So, I'm seeing Z, Zip, Unknown. Oh, that can't be good. So we always have Zap for lightning. Hold on. Is it Doze for make him clumsy? There's no point casting the door opening spell slowness on the thing. It is being very fast, and it's a mere single stamina point. J. Nope, no J. Okay. L. Law, right? Come on, you. Control non-intelligent creatures. That's a lot of stamina. I don't think... But you know what, though? Making it slow and clumsy seems like a good idea. You draw out the spell and the beast slows down, looking suddenly very sleepy and slow. At this speed, you do not even need to fight it. You walk quickly away. Let's get out of the forest and approach the village of Dumpers. The path winds a few more times around gigantic trees, thousands of years old, and then emerges onto a sudden plain, as if the forest had been scooped away by a gigantic hand. A river trickles thinly between short grasses, and by its banks stands a tiny village. The village of Dumpus, where we could go to purchase more provisions. Look, we're running low on... We've just got the bomba fruit, right? We're going to need more supplies. Let's get into that village and see if we can purchase some. Today has been a short day with few true dangers. With a decent meal and a night's sleep, your next day will start auspiciously. So you begin the gentle climb down into the village. You follow the path down into the village, passing a sign which declares it to be Dumpus. The streets are thin and narrow, and the buildings have been set close together as if trying to withstand a storm. There is a terrible smell hanging in the air. All in all, it seems like an unpleasant place. I mean, if someone's been dumping out in the streets, no wonder it pongs a bit. Find an inn, explore the town, talk to the villagers. I need to buy stuff. I hope I'll still get a chance to talk to villagers, assuming it doesn't get too late, but I need to try and find some shops. Halfway along the track, you come across a couple of merchants' huts. You browse for items worth buying with your 14 gold pieces. Your attention is taken by a finely woven skull cap, a finely crafted sword, and a small bag of provisions. You pick up the skull cap and turn it over. "Stolen from a priest of Dadu Lay," the merchant declares with pride. "A fine piece of work, 4 gold pieces." You can tell from the feel of the cloth it has no inherent magic, but it might be useful for spells. It could be cursed, but also... I'll try it on. You place it on your head, but you feel nothing. You take it off again. I'll pay for it. I will buy provisions. You examine the bag of food. It's enough to last for 3 days. 6 gold pieces, the merchant says with a smile. Good for a traveller, I'm sure. You know what? 3 days ought to get us to the end of our journey, I think. So yeah, I'll pay for that. You pay him 6 gold pieces and add the provisions to your pack. That's enough. We probably can't afford that sword anyway. You nod to the merchant. The merchant smiles. Is there anything else I can help you with? Is there any work to be had here? I need to earn some money. The merchant sizes you up. You look like a good worker to me. One of my friends needs some digging done. I'm sure he would pay you and feed you for it. Digging what? You ask. The merchant shifts uncomfortably. Does it matter? You'll find out. Well, I mean, as long as it's not my own grave. He stares at you. So, he asks. He looks over his shoulder at the path. I'm going that way now myself. You coming? I will follow the merchant. I know what I'm doing here. I'm getting the memories. I thought this was an earlier village in the adventure. I think I'm going to cast a spell soon. He leads you to a house on the edge of the village and introduces you to the householder, a stout man who is probably incapable of lifting a spade, let alone digging with it. What is it you need doing? Cesspit, the man replies. Out back, needs digging. How much? Well, the man replies, it's pretty urgent. The old one's overflowing. How much money? You demand. 3 gold pieces, he replies. All right, I'll get started. Spades out back, he replies with a jerk of his thumb. The village certainly is called Dumpus for a reason. You walk through the man's house into the back garden. The smell is terrible. The job is not just to dig a new cesspit, but to dig over the old one, and it's going to be several hours of work that'll probably take the whole night. You collect the spade stuck in the ground by the hole. I'm going to cast a spell. And the spell I'm going to cast is, I believe, called Big. There we go. You cast the spell and wait for it to take effect. Then you feel the spade turn from a heavy tool into a mere toothpick in your hand, as you swell to 3 times your usual size. You have the digging work done in barely any time, and now to collect my pay. You go back into the house and collect your money, 3 gold pieces. The grateful householder also provides you with some food as well as a space on the floor to rest for the remainder of the night. You settle down happily and are quickly asleep. And we've had an extra meal today. 15 and 16, looking good. You dream strange dreams as you sleep. Your thoughts are dominated by the strange woman in the hut. In your mind, she has become younger and more beautiful than she truly was. Flowers seem to blossom from her hair as though she has grown from the earth itself. Overhead, you fancy you hear the flap of giant wings. The birdmen came for the crown. Perhaps before this journey is finished, they will come for you. I believe they actually probably will. Let's leave Dumpus. The village reeks after all. You rise early, dismiss the attentions of the householder and head out into the street. Within a few minutes of walking, you are out of Dumpus and back on the road. After another hour or so, the way branches, with one path heading up into the hills and the other turning downhill along one side of a barren, stony ridge. Is that a village you can make out on top of the hill? It seems a lonely place for it. Urustanti. Or I could head over this way. The Janka mines are abandoned. Rajavanka, Biritanti. Crystal Waterfall, and Torapani, and on to Khare. So, I'm not sure that I can come across from here. This doesn't feel right. I think... Ooh. I think I want to be on this side of this hill. Headed towards Biritanti. And I should go around. Yes. If I'm missing out on some amazing quality stuff here in Orostanti, do feel free to let me know in the comments down below. You know, that nice empty space waiting for you to go type some stuff in it. You're welcome. I won't mind if you choose to use it. For now, though, I am heading this way, down around the hill. You follow a meandering path around the side of the hill for most of the morning. It's difficult to see the way ahead through the tree line, but you trust to the course, and eventually the path bursts out onto a narrow stone ledge high above the village floor. The ledge leads left and right. There is no further way forwards. I will look to the left. Looking left, you can see that the narrow ledge is formed by a splitting of the rock that leads all the way down to the misty valley floor. There is a path on the other side. It is not clear from here. And that mine is abandoned. It says so on the map. I'll look to the right. Looking right, you are taken aback, as, out of the mists that fill the valley, an impossibly wide bridge looms into view as if it had only now fallen into place. It is made of planks and thick ropes and is suspended from this peak to the peak on the other side. Who could have built such a marvel, and how long ago? I will gaze at the bridge. You take a moment more staring at the bridge. It forms a delicate curve across the valley, swaying very slightly on the wandering wind. But the more you look, the more it seems too perfect. Could such a bridge possibly exist? Or is it a mere illusion to trick the incautious traveller? You know, I'll tarry a while and consume some food. Do I eat the fruit? No. Perching on the edge of the stone outcrop, you eat a ration of your food and feel a little better for it. Now it is time to move on. Getting to your feet once more, you take a moment to find your balance before moving on. One slip here and you will fall a long way. Yes, tread on something sloppy, I would probably slip. If I go down into the valley, these, will they come up here? I'm sensing if the mine's been abandoned for a long time, it may be full of dangerous monsters, but I'm not sure I have good reason to go in there. I should probably just head on to Biritanti. But the adventure. I might find a valuable spell component down there. I mean, what have I got and needing so far? There's still a lot of things. Oh, jewels. Yes, mine. Jewel of gold. I mean, what kind of jewel could that possibly be? Sand? I might find some sand in a mine, but it's unlikely. So, I think I've got everything up to about here. So, sand, a black face mask, jewel of gold, gold-backed mirror. I think I can get that in this adventure, because I think I get one opportunity to cast the spell, but I'm not sure. It might be book 2. Stone dust. You know, in a mine. This makes sense, right? Yellow powder, gale horn. I'm pretty sure there's some items I can't even get in the first book, right? Oak sapling, I think that's more of a book 3 thing. A brass pendulum, put things to sleep. Pearl ring, jewel-studded medallion, sun jewel, bracelet of bone. A green-haired wig, which has managed to elude me because its placement is now different. A green ring, crystal orb, and holy water. So actually, I don't have that many items more to collect. I've got quite a few already, right? And ideally, there would be multiple opportunities to get some of these. So, I'm going to probably be able to rest of a night in Birutanti anyway. I will go into the valley and hope I don't regret it. The bridge seems untrustworthy. Should anything happen while you were halfway across it, there would be no escape but the last, most final kind. Better to walk. You make your way along the stone ledge. The angle is steep. I want to go back up. I want to go back up. I want to go back to the bridge. The angle is steep and it's hard going not to stumble. At the valley floor is a dried-up river covered in worn stones honed by water that is now long gone. Small caves open in the rock face nearby with rusted machinery abandoned outside. There was mining here once, but it must have been a long time ago. A wider track made for carts carrying ore leads up the far slope. I'll look around. You pause for a moment to recover your breath and look around. I'll look at the machinery. You walk for a while between the ancient machines that list out of the mud beside the riverbed. Gigantic hoppers, now bronze with rust, with huge spiked wheels on their sides, and chutes leading between them, now thick with bindweed, slugs and mud. Whatever these machines were for, they are not worked in decades, maybe even centuries. Let's look at the riverbed. You look at the riverbed. Nothing but a carpet of stones. I could investigate the mines or climb up out of the valley. I'm going up out of the valley. The climb on the other side of the valley would be no easier than the climb down. Well, could I just go back up? Apparently not. This could be dangerous. Your breath is short and your heart is hammering as you pause halfway up the valley slope. A small wooden hut is opposite, set a little way back from the path. I will approach the hut rather than trying to climb around it. This is a dangerous enough climb already. I'll look at it first, though. You stop to watch the hut, dropping behind a bush out of sight as you do so. After a few minutes, you see a troll emerge, ducking to get through the tiny frame of the building. He is clearly guarding something around here. Perhaps a mine, or perhaps he was stationed here long ago to guard a city that has now crumbled to ruin. Or he's just making people pay to cross the bridge. I'll wait to see what he does. The creature stands outside the hut for a few minutes, looking this way and that, his colossal head turning with the speed and dexterity of a mill wheel. So, pretty slowly then. Then he stomps away round the curve of the hill. You probably have a few minutes before he reappears. Yeah, let's go inside the hut. You seize the opportunity and race over to the hut to see what you can pilfer. Inside, you find it is a barren shack. There is a low oak table in the centre and no windows. There is no door. A pile of blankets in one corner is the only nicety. I could look at the blankets. Don't really have time. If I'm going to search them anyway, right? Look at the table. By the look of the table and its stains, this is where the troll sharpens his blade, skins his rabbits for the pot, and sleeps. It is certainly strong enough. 4 wide trunk legs supporting a split trunk top, etched deep and carved. The creature will be back any moment. You should go. Or look under the table. Maybe I could hide there? You peer under the table, but find nothing but the discarded scraps of rabbit bones and fur from the troll's meals. I will search for blankets. I probably don't have time for... A third option is probably pushing it, right? You lift the corner of the blanket with the tip of your sword, and hidden away you find 3 gold pieces. Most likely the troll's pay for the entire year. I'll take the money. Yeah, here we go. Okay. You take it quickly and drop the blankets back as you found them. Suddenly, a shadow falls across the entrance. The troll has returned. Roaring with anger, it raises its sword. You will have to fight it or cast a spell. Do I get to summon a giant here? Do I get Yob? I do not get Yob. Oh, I get SPWD AU. Oh, this is middles. Okay, right. So SU. I don't have the sun. It's nice for the game to actually point out, like, hey, you don't have this, right? PO pop explosions. I've got pebbles. Okay, so I can have walk and wool, right? Invisible ball. Yeah, but that's not going to help me get out of the hut alive, is it? It'll just piss him off. Walk would give me the shield. D. U. Dumb. Make him clumsy. That's a lot of stamina. What have I not explored? S, D, P. Doesn't even cost me any. Sure. You cast your spell across a pebble, then fling it at the troll. It explodes in a shower of sparks, knocking the creature to the floor. I could throw another, or I could check how many I have. Oh, that's not... 3 more pebbles. I shouldn't waste 2 in one encounter. All right. We fight. You seize the moment and rush forward with your sword. This troll... Look, I've hurt him already. He's down to 4 stamina. I could go all in. I think I will. Oh, he went heavy defense. That's really bad for me. I should have gone a much lighter on the attack there. The troll stamps forward. Then, an arm's length away, he drops down into a crouch behind his thick little shield. I think they may have indicated that in the artwork, and I might not have quite noticed. You raise your own sword, ready to meet him with a brutal attack and crash against his defences. The troll is stumbling, his wiry old muscles leaking green blood. He begins yelling and shouting. Sounds like he's getting really aggressive. I should go total defence. You drop into a defensive stance. The troll tries to batter you down, but you turn his blow aside. You adjust your grip and square your shoulders. His shield comes up. I'm gonna just, like, go for a side swipe. Oh man, he's defending again. That's bad. He stops to brush his hair away from his eyes, and you seize the moment to strike. Turning your sword, you punch with the hilt, and as he reels, you lash out with your blade. He raises his shield quickly to defend himself. The troll deflects the blow, mostly by luck. He shifts his grip on his sword. I think he's coming in for a big attack here. I will stay defending. Good call. You drop back as the troll swings with great force. You parry in a flash of sparks. You watch his eyes carefully for his next move. And he's not giving much away. If I go, like, keep a little back around here. You spy an opening and go for an attack. You thrust, making swift progress across the dirt towards him. You swing, spinning around on the spot, and the last cut slices through the troll's neck. 2 stamina lost. Decent dueling. I don't like this try again button. I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to take it and accept it for what it is. Now I will search for Troll's hut. With the troll dead, you quickly complete your search of the hut, but you find nothing more of interest. Then you slip out and continue on your way. You know, if I was wrong to completely bypass the mines, let me know what you think. If you think I should have gone in there, hey, have your say, you know? Another hour passes as you finish the climb. With the sun starting to hang heavy in the sky, you reach the top and meet with the other end of the rope bridge. I'll look back at the bridge and see if it's been sabotaged here. It may look stable, but it is undoubtedly a death trap set to part travellers from their gold and from their lives. Really? How do I know? Were you going to reveal to me why? You continue on down the slope as evening draws in. Some way down the hill, you stop for a rest and sit on a boulder to survey what lies ahead. The path leads downwards, and at its foot, cradled between 3 peaks, is a village, and quite a large one at that. Behind you, the sun is falling rapidly into the hills. It'll be night soon. Well, let's approach the village. I think I've got 3 meals worth of food. I might not even need to get any here. The village looks like a good place to stop. You hop down from a boulder and make your way forward when an overhanging branch touches your face and you hear a lively chirping. I'll freeze on the spot. This... oh no. Is this Jan the Minimite? I think it might be. Old memories, but very memorable. You freeze. Hovering by your shoulder is a small creature the size of a bird. It is childlike, but very thin, with green skin, and it flits around you on translucent wings. It seems friendly enough. It even lands on your shoulder, its tiny clawed toes pinching slightly. I'll talk to it. Greetings, little creature. And hello to you, the creature replies, chirping. My name is Jan. Hello, Jan. What are you? The creature does a backflip and gives a low bow. I'm a Minimite. Pleased to meet you. It reaches out a tiny hand and shakes your earlobe. What do you want with me? See that village? The creature replies. Last time I tried to go through, they told me I wasn't welcome, so I wouldn't mind some protection. The creature starts hopping up and down. Come on, it grumbles impatiently. Let's get going, can't we? What can you tell me about the village? You point down the valley. Is it safe? That's Biritanti, and it's very safe. It's the largest village in the whole of the Shamutanti Hills. Every traveller who comes this way spends at least 1 night there. So it's a little bit expensive, especially for Minimites, but pleasant enough. Where I'm going, it's going to be pretty dangerous. You warn the creature. You might be killed travelling with me. The creature shrugs. I've got small wings. Can't get very far on my own. The creature flits to your other shoulder once more. You're not in any hurry, are you? It observes. Do you want to sleep out in the rough? Well, let's get going then. The creature shakes you by the ear in excitement, and you set off along the path once more. You descend into the bowl of the valley. The hills on either side are towering tall and throw the village into deep shadow. It would seem a very gloomy, threatening place, but from the streets comes a distant sound of laughter and merriment. So the Minimite... You can't cast spells while the Minimite is with you. He messes up magic. It's like a sort of aura that he has. You continue along the path. The sounds of festivities grow louder. It's almost spooky here in the shade of the valley, and after so long on the dire road, the people in this village seem to be enjoying themselves. See? The Minimite on your shoulder remarks. I told you it was a happy place. You told me it was a safe place. Jan, what's going on? What's going on here? Are they bewitched? Jan shakes his head. No, if there was magic here, believe me, I'd know. This is the festival of the young. What's that? Well, take a look. Jan waves a little hand around the village. The idea is that once a year the children are allowed the freedom of the village. It is a time of great fun and lots of pranks. There's actually a similar thing in Holland. Or the Netherlands, if you want to call it that. When is it? It's once a year. I think it's like during Lent. They cook a special pudding at one point, and they put a little silver crown in it, and everyone eats the pudding, and whoever gets the silver crown gets to be king or queen for the day and boss people around, and everyone has to do what they say. Only happens once a year. It also echoes things like the Lord of Misrule and things like that as well, so this is not entirely without precedent. It becomes quickly obvious what he means. You pass the first few buildings where you find a number of children sitting in the street and drinking ale from deep mugs. Further on, a young boy is holding an old woman over his knee and is spanking her. On the other side of the street, a group of boys is fighting outside a hut with the sign that reads Glandragor's Tavern. It's all complete mayhem. I could go rescue the old woman, but this is the festival of the young and the children are allowed to do what they want, so I shouldn't do this. She might even be angry that I've done this. I mean, she might be grateful to be rescued, but the child, a whole lot could turn on me and then it could get nasty. So, no, I'll leave her be. You consider helping the woman, but there's nothing you can do. It is their festival after all. Exactly, it's a local custom. Enter the tavern, further into town. Yeah, I'll go into the tavern. Behind the bar, a thick-set man is wiping mugs down with an old rug. Greetings, stranger, he calls. I'm Glandragor. Can I help you? I think Glandragor might be the owner of the axe that was for sale right at the beginning of the adventure. There might be some reward for giving it to him here at this point, but I'm not sure. Greetings. Either way, I don't think I'll get the option if I don't have it. I've come a long way. I'm sure you have. Take a seat. You do so, and Jan leaps up onto the counter. Glandragor seems amused rather than alarmed by the creature. How much is an ale? 2 gold pieces, and it's the finest in town. Well, it's the only ale in town. I make sure of that. Oh, really? Well, I'll buy a mug. I'm not going to say I got no dosh. I got dosh. A little bit. You put 2 gold pieces down on the countertop, and Glandragor pulls you a mug of beer. It's warm, frothy, and deeply refreshing. Glandragor smiles. You look like you've been on the road for a while. Oh, you have no idea, you reply. Glandragor nods. Tell me about this village. Glandragor shrugs. Not much to say. What you see is what you get. This place keeps going because it's the only route between Khare and Cantopani. If one of these mountains falls or the river freezes over, then this place will be a desert in 2 weeks. Well, I'm headed for Khare myself. I mean, look, it's like the only thing along the road, really, so, again, no point denying it. Of course you are, he grins. Didn't I just tell you that? All right. What can you tell me about it? Ah, Khare. I loved a girl in Khare once. It's the town for love, you know. You have to live every day like it's your last in Khare, because the chances are high that it will be. Now there's a city of thieves, if ever there was one. I'm sure you'll be right at home. Well, steady on. I've got my magic. Then you better lose that thing, he replies, flicking Jan with a finger. The tiny creature rolls over uneasily. He seems to be ill. Glandragor goes back to wiping down... Yeah, he's probably been sipping of beer. Glandragor goes back to wiping down his bar. Then a thought occurs to him. You'll be passing through Torrepani, I suppose. The Svins in Torrepani are normally a merry lot, but they're pretty depressed at the moment. There's a real gloom about the case. Well, what's the matter with them? Oh, well, he thinks for a moment, then waves away whatever was on the tip of his tongue. I'm sure it's nothing to concern you. From the counter, Jan issues a loud burp. He's been sipping ale from puddles on the bar top and is now quite drunk. I could wake him up or I could try and slip away without him. I think I should try and give him the slip, although I think he'll notice and follow me anyway. A perfect opportunity to give the creature the slip. You get quietly to your feet, but you don't quite manage it. At the last moment, Jan rouses himself and flies wobblingly back onto your shoulder. "I love you," he whispers into your ear. Well, that's fine, but I'm going to enjoy this town, okay? It's larger than a village. You head out of the tavern and turn a corner to find a group of girls standing by a signpost pointing to the Crystal Waterfall. They are tripping up their elders as they pass and giggling. I'll ask them about the waterfall, but it is the festival of the young, so they might completely mislead me. You stop by the group and ask them about the waterfall, but they are too distracted by Jan, whom they delight in poking, tickling, and generally cooing over. After a few minutes of asking them about the waterfall, you give up and walk away. One of the girls calls, "Come back!" Another shouts, "The water is good for you!" Jan sighs, already missing the attention, but comes back to rest on your shoulder. You leave the girls to their snickering. Now, I can find an inn or visit the waterfall. I think I get to sleep here overnight. At the waterfall, but I can't say for certain. You know what, let's go find out. You go back, past the girls, and head up a path that climbs through a crack in the mountainside. This path seemed to be descending, according to the map. Soon the air is filled by a thundering. It's quite a climb, but eventually you turn a corner through a narrow cleft in the rock and catch your first glimpse of a tall natural waterfall plunging down from the cliffs overhead. Large crystal stalactites hang down either side of the water. There is only one path to reach it, winding up the rock face, and it passes by a small hut where a ruffian is collecting money. I could ask Jan to scout ahead, cast a spell. I'll greet the ruffian. It doesn't mean he's robbing people, right? Maybe it's like a small toll to go visit the waterfall. That sounds reasonable to me. You make your way over to the hut. "Greetings," you begin. "You collect a fee for the waters?" I do! Sneezes the ruffian. "These waters cannot be so healing that he has not caught an awful flu from them. 3 gold pieces." I'm not going to haggle. That doesn't make sense. I'll pay. You hand over your coins. The ruffian hands you a towel in return. I'm probably going to need it. To the waterfall, then. You head up to the waterfall, which cascades forcefully into a deep pool. "Hey, I got 2 health back. Great." You strip off your clothes and dive into the pool while Jan flitters through the froth. The cool water is fresh and invigorating, and you feel yourself getting rapidly better. You feel a huge swell of confidence. Coming here was the best decision you have made. Now you can move on refreshed and ready for the night. I could sleep by the waterfall or find an inn in town. I'll stay here by the waterfall and sleep. I think I get some kind of special dream or see a magical spirit of the waterfall or something, even though I have Jan the Minimite with me. The idea of going back into the village now is unappealing. You're refreshed and calm, and the scenery here is beautiful and peaceful. Getting out of the pool, you dry off, collect your things, and head off into the trees to find a spot to rest. Between curling roots, you find a small space to settle down and rest. Jan perches a little way above on a knot and is quickly asleep. You're tired enough to follow suit. I ate before the bridge and before going down to look at the mines, so I don't need to eat an extra meal today, and I am on full health from the waterfalls. I'll just settle down for the night. You rest your head onto your backpack and close your eyes. Ah, to sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. But in that dream of death, what sleeps may come. What dreams may come. Sorry, in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. That's the Messed up, didn't I? Good and proper. Ugh. Oh well, good one, Raph. Your dreams are filled with walking, with peaks and valleys and endless paths. A curious light plays across them, building walls to heights before ruining them as it moves away. The rest of the night passes silently. Well then, let's head on out of town. You rise early from your spot beneath the tree. As you gather your things, Jan leaps up and onto your shoulder. "Ready to go?" he chirps. You pass through the village, which is now as quiet as the grave, and rejoin the path on the far side of Biritanti. The sun sits on the horizon like a gleaming jewel. If all goes well, you will reach Torapani today, and the last village in the Shamutanti Hills. After a short climb, the path breaks, heading uphill to the left and downhill to the right. I may ask Jan for his advice, but I think whatever I do, I will do it in the next episode. I'm going to leave this one here. I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, and I do look forward to seeing you all in the next one. I'm going to say goodbye for now, though, and cheerio, everyone!